Well, good morning. Good to be with you again. I just want to share a couple things on why I'm fine is killing us. It's God's answer, what I want to suggest to holy loneliness. As we go to church, we look around and there's the praise and worship, and we're thinking everyone's okay. But being a therapist for 30 years with many people that went to church, there's so much more going on underneath that they don't have it together. And at times they feel like if people only knew, or they're going to pull away. And so we just, the typical thing is, how are you? Well, I'm fine. So I just want to talk a little bit today about ways that we can relate differently that will be very helpful. We were never meant to be alone. And it starts in Genesis 2. Perfect conditions. Jesus creates the man and says it's not good for the man to be alone because he created us with a brain that needs relational connection. The church is supposed to be the same way, and the early church got it right. They met in homes. It wasn't just around shared beliefs, but it was around shared lives. And so there was a closeness, sharing of a meal, um, so that we were meant to be that way. And so loneliness is just a signal that we need more connection. And the reason it hurts so much is because that's a scary thing for us. And so we don't connect. And now we're then alone. Or we just spiritualize it and we just connect with God. And we're still not completely honest with Him. And so we need to connect with others and we need to connect with God in a different way. And so I want to just share a couple things that could be very helpful. Take a 1% risk with a safe person. Find a safe person that you already know that is good with you, good, bad, and ugly, and share 1% of how you really feel. It really has been a rough week. Um, I felt a little bit lonelier than usual this week, and I really would love to talk to you about that. Or I'm carrying something that's kind of difficult when they ask you, how are you doing? Then in that conversation, just create a simple rhythm. You share a few things, they respond, and then you just listen to whatever it is that they're sharing so that there's this connection back and forth. You're not wanting advice and fixing, and you're not going to give that to them. And then the third thing, and this is pretty critical, is be honest with God. David was, and he was often complaining about a lot of things. And we need to be able to say things like, Lord, I feel alone. I know in my head you're here, but my heart feels so empty. And, um, and I don't know how that can change, but I just want to just kind of be upfront with you. And as you have those conversations, he doesn't magically take things away, but we are beginning to connect with him with more feelings. And so I want to suggest that those things to you. And then a couple things. One, you'll see a link to just a 2-page um, uh, paper that gives you a couple more ideas and why we need to connect more with other people. And then there's a great video from Simon Sinek, who works with these high powered leaders. And his main focus is why crying alone isn't right. You should not do that. And all you need is 8 minutes. So it's a really fun video to take a look at. So I want to each time provide a couple other resources, a few practical things for you. So have a good week. And when someone asks you, so how you doing? 1% more honest and share a need. That's what we are created for, and that's what the body is all about. Okay, take care.
A friend of mine, my friend Maria, I was over at her house and we were just catching up. And she told me that the week before, she had a really, really hard week. And I said, why didn't you call me? I'm here for you. She says, I did. I reached out. I said, no, you didn't. She goes, I did. I texted you. I'm like, you did not text me. She goes, I did. So of course I pull out my phone and I scroll up and I look for her text. And sure enough, it says, hey, what are you doing? Want to come over? I'm like, you mean these texts? The one that sound like every other text you've ever sent me ever? I'm like, how do I know that that's a cry for help? And it was so upsetting to me because I wanted to be there for my friend. She had read an article just recently that said that all human beings need is 8 minutes of time from another friend to feel not alone in a moment of stress and a moment of need. And so she and I came up with a code word that the next time one of us really needs the other person, that instead of just sending a random text thinking that they'll be able to decipher that we're struggling, our code would be, do you have 8 minutes?
Wow.
And it makes me cry each time I talk about it. Anyone can step out of a meeting for 8 minutes. You won't solve your problem, your friend's problems, and it may take hours, if not days, to help them and be there with them and sit in mud with them. But it only takes 8 minutes for them to feel like they're dealing with whatever they're dealing, not alone.
Wow.
And this is the power of friendship. This is the power of friendship. I have a rule with all of my friends, which is there's no crying alone.
No crying alone.
No crying
Right.
alone.
Okay.
That if you are in a state where that level of emotion, if you start talking about something that you know tears are going to follow, you immediately pick up the phone and call me or somebody else. And there's no crying alone. It's just not allowed. And the willingness to allow someone to sit in mud with you is what it is to be human. I think it is the greatest honor. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately, which is, when our friends are struggling, our instinct is to rescue them, to pull them out of the mud, to fix. And if you're the one sitting in the mud when somebody attempts to fix, even if it's well-intentioned, it is a horrible feeling. Just don't do that. You're making it worse. And what true friendship is not the desire to fix or pull the friend out of the mud who you really want to see out of the mud, but it's your willingness to sit in the mud with them, to get in the mud and turn to them and say, this sucks. And it's not fun being in the mud with them. You don't want to get in the mud with them, but you choose to get in the mud with them until they're ready to say, can we get out now? But you sit there with them. And that's a friend of mine who is one of those folks. I hadn't talked to him in a while. And I called him up and be like, what are you up to? I haven't talked to him in a while. And he opened up, and it was intense. And I was like, why didn't you call me? He's like, I didn't want to bother you. And the way we ended the phone call is I didn't say, I'm always here, I'll be here. I took my go on sort of mentality. And the way we ended the phone call is like, listen, and he's depressed and he's in a bad place. The way we ended the phone call is I said, listen, don't be an asshole and deny me the honor of being there for you. Like, you have no right to deny me. Very teary day today.
So look, I'm good. Thank you. Yeah. Hey, y'all played a heck of a game out there. We may not have won, but y'all definitely succeeded. I mean, you gave the champs 90 minutes of hell. Zero. Where you at? That dude had more saves than a Baptist preacher. Give it up for Zero. Yep. That's right. What about Roy? Roy chased down his grandson, stopped him from getting an easy one. Now look, this is a sad moment right here for all of us. There ain't nothing I can say standing in front of you right now that could take that away. But please, do me this favor, will you? Lift your heads up and look around this locker room. Yeah? Look at everybody else in here. And I want you to be grateful that you're going through this sad moment with all these other folks. Because I promise you, there is something worse out there than being sad, and that is being alone and being sad. Ain't nobody in this room alone. Sam, do you remember what animal has the shortest memory?
A goldfish.
That's right. That's a goldfish. Sam, what do you think we should all do once we get done being sad and or angry about this situation?
I think we should all be a goldfish.
I agree. Let's be sad now. Let's be sad together. And then we can be a gosh darn goldfish. Onward, forward.
Like a bull chasing